Guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be working on this toilet. It's been plugging up at least once a week, sometimes once a day. It'll get backed up and I'll have to come in and plunge it. And this has been going on for quite a while. At first I was just hoping it was, somebody's business plugging it up, but it's happening so often that something's got to be plugging either the siphon tube on the toilet or down where it enters into the sewage pipe. So I'm going to show you how to get all your water out of the flushing bowl and the bowl itself, and show you how to reinstall the toilet using a waxless ring. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is shut off the water. Right now we're going to flush it a few times to get all the water out of the reservoir back here. So that looks like all the water's going to come out of there. This will keep water from coming out. Once you lift the toilet out, that will keep that sealed up so no water will drain out on the floor. But you see we still have water in our bowl. So how a toilet works is once this bowl gets full enough of water, it creates a down pressure, which then starts the water moving through the outlet down at the bottom, and then it just sucks the rest of the water out. So we're going to just get a container and fill this up with some water till it sucks the water out. All right, so we got several gallons of water here, about half a bucket of water, and we're going to pour it in here until it starts to suction, which it is. There we go. So we got the water out of the upper bowl and the lower bowl as much as we can, but we have a little bit of water still in the bottom. So what I like to do is take the bucket that I just used to pour the water in, set it beside my toilet bowl, and then I just use a cheap turkey baster. I use this for mechanical projects, never cooking. And you can use the baster just to get the rest of that water out of the bottom. So you're left with very little. There's really nothing left in there but a few drips. And I can just take some toilet paper for that matter and just soak it up. All right, so our water is completely out except for just a little bit that's down the bottom of this, which won't matter because that flipper will keep it shut. If I don't like the thought of there being water in there, I can also take the same turkey baster and take it out of my bowl as well. All right, we have basically no water left in there. All right, the next step is to unhook our water line from the valve so we can get the toilet off of here. And there will be a little bit of water come out, so we're gonna get a towel to lay down. This is one of the benefits of using the turkey baster, get all your water out of the tank so that you don't end up with it on the floor. Just a little bit of water. All right, now we have to get these bolts out, and they are pretty rusty, so I wouldn't be surprised if they break off or have difficulty coming out. These types of jobs aren't very fun, but you got to keep in mind how many days you use this piece of equipment without any issues, and it worked just fine. Once in a while, you have to pay your dues and fix it, upgrade it, whatever the situation is. We will not be using these nuts and bolts, so we're not saving them. We're just trying to get them off so we can get this toilet removed. We're gonna get these rugs out of here because we don't want them getting ruined. So we should be ready to remove the toilet bowl. I'm gonna get some blocking or something here to set the toilet bowl on so I can look at the state of the wax ring, get it all off the bottom once I get it off of here.
I just had no idea what's going on.
Okay, so I have 3 blocks of wood that are real similar in height. These 2 are exactly the same. This one's similar. These blocks are about 8 to 10 inches tall, and so I'll set the bowl on this, and then I can look underneath it and see what's going on. So a toilet bowl is pretty heavy, so you might need a hand with this part. So our toilet bowl is balanced on the wood blocks. This is the first look at our drain hole. It doesn't look like there's any obstructions. However, if you notice though, the bottom of this wax ring is actually plastic or rubber, and it looks like it's squished in so that that hole is narrow this direction, and elongated this direction, which could be causing a little bit of interference on a heavy load, if you know what I mean. The situation there with that wax ring is why I'm a big fan of the waxless rings that I'm gonna use on this when I put it back together. They say that they don't last as long as a wax ring, but like this situation here, this wax ring probably got put on 20 years ago. And when they installed it, they created this problem, assuming we don't find anything else in the toilets wrong. So when they put this together, they had a problem from day one. And then it just depends on what kind of material are going down through that hole, whether it gets obstructed or not. Even if my waxless ring doesn't work as long as maybe a wax ring, I'd rather deal with it because it's a lot easier to install and take apart and replace than dealing with this. Because once you put the toilet together with a wax ring, there's no way to see if it's sitting right. The waxless rings are warranted for like 10 years. If it lasts me that long in between issues, I'll take it. So I enlisted some help so I could get this bowl back so I could take a good look up in the hole to make sure there wasn't any obstructions. I really suspected that there would be something in there that was causing more of an obstruction, but I don't see anything, so that's good. And all my wax came off of this and is on the floor, so that's kind of nice too. Sometimes a bunch of wax is stuck around here. You have to wipe it all off, scrape it all off, but we don't have anything. So this looks clear, best I can see. So I think our problem was right there. Just to make sure that's clear, I'm gonna run a little snake in there just to make sure I don't hit any obstructions, because I don't want to get it back together and wish I would have did this just to make sure everything's okay. Okay, I think it's going in far enough that it's hitting the right angle. So I'm pretty convinced that it's clear. I got in quite a ways on both. All right, so we're just gonna clean the bottom of this off good. Make sure we have a good mating surface for our new seal. Just cleaning this surface up here while I'm thinking about it. Getting some of that old rust and crap off of here. So now we're gonna get this wax ring cleaned up so we can get our new seal down. Before I do that, I'm gonna show you something. This is the waxless seal I'm going to use. Got this from Lowe's. You can get it at a lot of hardware stores, and it is foam and rubber. As you can see, there's no wax to like get smashed sideways or whatever. So this would be the upside, and then depending on your spacing, you might have to add this ring underneath, but we'll figure that out here in a minute. But what I wanted to show you before we tear all this wax off is the difference in that hole size to like the roundness of that. It's kind of hard to see because it's so flimsy or floppy down there. But as you can see, you got that hole, and then you have this situation where it's all shoved in like that. That is just enough to cause restriction. And we don't want any of this falling into our sewer line, so I'm going to stuff some paper towel in here to help prevent that. So these bolts should just slide out through the side here. They're kind of stuck underneath the linoleum there. We'll get them out here in a minute. I do notice that this side is higher than this side, which also caused a problem with that wax ring. It wasn't completely level, and so that caused it to sit crooked and the wax ring to get shoved sideways a little bit. Yeah, I've never been a fan of wax rings, so I was really glad when they came out with this waxless ring deal. So I'm just getting the linoleum down enough that I can get those bolts out. Kind of making like a ramp. There we go. And I'm not throwing them out quite yet in case my new bolts have some kind of a problem fitting in here. This doesn't have to be perfect, but the cleaner you get it, obviously, the better results you'll have. And this comes with new bolts. All right, we got our bolts in place here. These plastic washers go over them to hold them kind of in place for you, so they kind of stay straight up and down somewhat. The directions say if your flange is above the surface of your floor, that you only use this. If it's even with or a 1/4 inch below, you put this spacer on first and then this. And if it's farther than a 1/4 inch, then you actually have to get an extra spacer in addition to this. Ours is slightly above here and about a 1/4 inch over here actually, because it's not level. So we're gonna just use this. All right, so we just put our seal in there like that. That is as easy as it gets. There's no wax to smash. All right, so now we just gotta line our bolts up with our toilet, or toilet up with our bolts, however you wanna look at it. Just like that. Like I said, you can move the toilet around a little bit, tilt it to the side to take some weight off of that seal if you need to. But bottom line is, you know it's not deforming like a wax seal. So you want to make sure your toilet's as square as possible. And then it's just putting your washers and nuts on. You do not want to over tighten these. You just snug them up. All right, we got our bolts snugged up on both sides. Need to get this water line hooked back up. Turn our water back on. Check for leaks. All right, we're ready to try our first flush. Everything looks good. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you guys got something out of it today. If you like this type of content, think about subscribing. It really helps the channel. And it also helps me to keep making these videos. So until next time, guys, good luck with all your projects.